All right, so I'm going to talk about embassies, consulates, and trade commissions. This is in the category of the political environment, which is something that Canadian companies need to know when they're doing business, and all business is international business. So we're going to talk about what is the difference in the term between embassy, consulate, and a high commission. So first of all, what is an embassy? An embassy is the diplomatic office that Canada or another country has in the capital city. And if you have more than one in a country because there's many people there or many reasons to do business, then the second one is usually called the consulate general. So for example, the Americans have an embassy in Ottawa. They also have a consulate general in Toronto. And they may have other ones in Canada. For example, they may have one in Vancouver. Well, of course they do. They have ones in other Canadian cities such as Montreal and Quebec City and so on. So sometimes the smaller ones are called consulates. So the first one is an embassy, the second one is a consulate general, and the third one, and the fourth ones would be called consulates. Just like Canada has an embassy in Washington, they have a consulate general in New York City, and they would have consulates in other American cities. In in Los Angeles, they would have a consulate general because there's so much business in California. But the other term is a high commission. A high commission refers to representation in a country that is formerly or currently a member of the British Commonwealth. And as I showed this map on the screen here, you can see those little blue colorings are for countries which are former members of the British Commonwealth, such as India, Pakistan, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Kenya, which is in the news today, Jamaica, Barbados, and so on. So in those countries, we don't have what we call an ambassador, which is the head of the post. We have what we call the high commissioner. So that's the difference between a high commission, an embassy, and the terms that are used for diplomatic postings. Now the other term we sometimes use is post. Post is a more generic term for diplomatic representation overseas, because we say post or postings or the head of the post, which could be an ambassador or could be a high commissioner. The reason we use this because in the case of Taiwan, we don't have an embassy, we don't have an high commission. We simply call it the Canadian Trade Office. That's because for diplomatic sensitivities, you don't want to piss off the Chinese government in Beijing that considers Taiwan still a breakaway territory. So because we do so much business with China, we kowtow to that, pun intended. Anyhow, so that's the difference between embassies, consulates, and high commissions. I hope that that's helpful.